All right, we are continuing our top story here. A pause on administering the Johnson & Johnson vaccine in Utah following a federal recommendation. The FDA and CDC investigating 6 cases of a rare type of blood clot in patients who received that particular vaccine. Now, Utah has administered 76,000 doses, last I checked, of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, a small portion of the 1.7 million shots Utahns have gotten overall. But the pause will still have an impact. And of course, those who have received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine have some concerns. So Rich Lakin, kind enough to join us. He directs the vaccine program for the state of Utah. Thank you for taking some time for us. I do want to start with what I just mentioned, concerns of people who have gotten this vaccine already.
Yeah, so if you received the vaccine and you have some concerns, please reach out to your physician and have a discussion with them. I still also want to emphasize that 6 people out of 6.8 million doses have been given, and those 6 people are the ones that had blood clots. So again, the FDA and CDC is still they want us to pause. They wanted us to they want to look into this further as there's a correlation with other countries. And then hopefully we can resume down the road here.
Yeah, and those 6, you mentioned 6 people. One of them has died. I understand one is hospitalized, but this is not something. Pay attention if you've gotten it, but don't. But there's no reason to think that you're in danger.
That's correct. Yeah, most of these people saw the blood clotting 6 to somewhere around 12 days after they received the vaccine. So again, if you received it and you got it months ago, there's no concern. And again, this is still very, very rare, 6 out of 6.8 million vaccinations.
So is the pause necessary? Was this a tough call?
That's a great question. The pause is always necessary, I think, if you're starting to see a correlation with another country. And one case is one too many, and you just want to make sure that things are going the way they should be. And when they start to see one case kind of start to grow to 4, 5, 6 cases, let's pause, and then let's look into this a little bit further before we start resuming vaccinations again, at least with the J&J.
For me and for all of our viewers who are not experts in public health or vaccinations, describe the difference between what the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is compared to Moderna and Pfizer. Why should we be comfortable with Moderna and Pfizer while J&J is on hold? So
the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine, so each one of these vaccines teach you your body's immune system to build up some antibodies. So when you are exposed to COVID, then you have antibodies in there, and the disease is in there, the antibodies recognize it, and they kill it. So to make it simplistic, the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine, they use messenger RNA, which kind of teaches the cell to build up immunity in a kind of using the RNA within your body. The Johnson & Johnson is more like a traditional vaccine where they use a cell base, so like a deadened protein. And when that looks like the coronavirus. So when you're injected with that deadened protein, your body builds up immunity to that COVID.
So it's kind of like, some of us, can take Tylenol, but not ibuprofen, that kind of thing. I mean, they're entirely different things, really.
That's correct.
And yes. So the one does not, Johnson & Johnson having this side effect has no impact on Pfizer and Moderna?
No, that's correct. They're totally different vaccines. So if you received Pfizer and Moderna, you should have no worries whatsoever about the blood clotting issue.
Yeah, and talk about what this does to your program. You oversee this big program where vaccines are going all over the state. What role did Johnson & Johnson play in that? Were you targeting specific areas or purposes?
So we chose to utilize J&J in a number of different venues. We used it in the urban area, mobile units. We used it for in rural areas. where it's hard to store the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine, where the J&J can be refrigerated up to 3 months. So it's a little bit easier to store. We used it in mobile units. We used it with individuals that had a difficult time going to mass clinics or their local health departments or their pharmacy, vulnerable populations. And then again, we also used it for anybody that would like to get it. So we also had it in our mass clinics where they could be vaccinated. So we were really, in the state of Utah, well-rounded in utilizing our vaccine. And that's probably one of the reasons why our state was one of the best in the country, is because we used not just certain areas, but we were well-rounded in making sure the vaccine was utilized.
All right. Well, that's really helpful. And Rich, we're out of time. I could ask a bunch more questions, but it's comforting to hear from you, and thank you for the work you're doing. I've got my first dose, and I was so surprised at how big a relief that was. You know how good it feels. So I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon, Rich. Thank you.